John was an ordinary man living in a small town. One afternoon, while driving home after a long workday, he was involved in a terrible accident. His car lost control and crashed into a large tree. John lost consciousness immediately. When he woke up, he realized he was no longer in the car. Instead, he found himself standing in a dark, endless space. Everything around him seemed like a black hole. No light, no sound. He could feel an overwhelming force, as if something was pulling him into another dimension. Slowly, he began to fall into a bottomless pit, getting further and further from the world he knew, while everything around him grew darker. Suddenly, a bright red light appeared, but it wasn't normal. It was a glowing, menacing red, full of danger and fear. John soon realized that he was in a very different place, a world he could not understand. Before him stood a massive gate, made of cracked black stone, as though it had been created from the very foundations of hell. As he walked through the gate, John entered a vast, gloomy space with dark, floating clouds above him. Far in the distance, flickering flames appeared, but they gave off no warmth, only a chilling cold. Surrounding him were the sounds of screams and cries for help, echoing from shadowy figures and wandering souls. A coldness spread through his body, and he could sense the presence of enormous, dark creatures lurking around him. These were not human beings, but strange, ghostly beings that looked at him with eyes filled with hatred, as though they were waiting for someone, perhaps a soul to claim. Then a voice echoed from the red clouds. "You've come here? You cannot return." John couldn't speak. He stood frozen, terrified, until a shadowy figure appeared before him. It was the figure of a woman, pale and with eyes filled with sorrow. She looked at John and said, "You must witness this. This is where souls are trapped, where there is no hope." John began to feel an overwhelming sense of guilt, as though he had done something wrong in his life to end up in this place. The woman continued, "No one can leave hell without facing their past. Look at your life." John watched as images from his life appeared before him, moments of mistakes, poor choices, and things he had done wrong. He saw how he had neglected loved ones, lived carelessly, and failed to value what truly mattered. In that moment, John realized that hell was not just a place. It was a state of being, trapped in one's own mistakes and guilt. It was an endless torment of facing one's regrets and feeling powerless. But then he began to feel as though he was being pulled away from this place. A light shining from far off, pulling him back to the real world. When John woke up in the hospital, he was no longer the same person. The experience had profoundly changed him. He realized that what he had gone through wasn't just a dream. It was a journey into the darkest recesses of his mind. Hell. He had returned with a renewed sense of purpose and a deeper understanding of life. John was no longer just a man who had seen hell, but a person who had learned a valuable lesson about repentance, change, and cherishing the good in life. He understood that every day was an opportunity to live meaningfully and avoid facing the terrifying visions he had seen. Have you ever had a near-death experience or seen another world? Share your story and don't forget to subscribe to The Mysterious World to explore more mysteries and strange phenomena. That's the story of a man who saw hell and returned to share his experience with the world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next mysterious story.